Abducted Kaduna female doctor freed after 10 months. 10 killed, 7 injured as building collapses in Ibadan. National Economic Council calls for withdrawal of tax reform bills. On a foreign scene, Chad president personally leading anti-terrorist operation. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Let's get into the news. The Kaduna-based female medical doctor will regain freedom after 10 months in captivity. Ganiat Bobola will undergo psychosocial therapy before reuniting with her family. The doctor registered in the Department of Ophthalmology at the National Eye Center, Kaduna State, was abducted on December 27, 2023, along with her husband Nuruddin Bobola and her nephew Folaromi Abdul Mugni, who lived with them. Trust TV's Bella Musa has more in this report.
Her husband was released a few months after their abduction, while Dr. Popola and her nephew remained in captivity until October 30, 2024, when they were both freed by their abductors. According to medical expert Mohammed Ali, Dr. Popola is currently undergoing therapy before being reunited with her family.
For Dr. Ganiat Popola and her nephew Abdul Muhi to be released yesterday at about 15:35 hours after spending exactly 10 months, 3 days in captivity. And this was as a result of the concerted efforts, both kinetic and non-kinetic approach adopted by officers and men of the Nigerian Army and the 1 Division, Nigerian Army.
He explained that the 198th Battalion of the Nigerian Army Division played a critical role in her release.
They have to undergo certain psychosocial therapy before she will be united with her family. And apart from that, when somebody that has spent about 10 months in captivity under the watch of insurgents, criminals, so there is what we may call debriefing, so that during the debriefing, a lot of intel will be uncovered from her.
Similarly, President of National Resident Doctors National Eye Care Center, Kaduna, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Okpanaki, also confirmed that the released doctor is receiving medical attention at an undisclosed hospital. According to him, staff at the hospital are still jubilating over her release.
It's a thing of joy. I think it's a thing every family and every staff of this hospital has looked forward to. And glory be to God, today we are here. We are talking about it. Although some of us have lost hope somehow, but thank God that we are talking positively about this same issue. Okay, I've not heard her voice. I confirmed from the family who told me she's been released and she's with them. I'm currently receiving medical care. About whether ransom or no ransom, honestly, I can't categorically say.
Dr. Popola was abducted in this house at the staff quarters of the National Eye Care Center, Kaduna. Since then, the Association of Resident Doctors of the hospital embarked on serious agitation and industrial action, pressing government for her release. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
1 person has been reportedly killed while 3 others were abducted on Thursday morning. A fresh bandit attack on Danali community in Danmusa local government area of Katsina State. The attackers were met their victims while working on farms a few kilometers away from Danali town. Shot one Masoudu Saidu who attempted to escape. The bandits wielding dangerous weapons whisked away the other 3 people, leaving the deceased behind. A resident of Danali community said many farmers are at the risk of losing their farm produce over fears of bandits' attacks. The bandits are yet to make any demand from residents regarding the abduction, as many are calling on the government to secure the area from further attacks. Many attempts to speak to either the chairman of Dan Musa local government or any security agency in the state has proven unsuccessful at the time of filing this report. Police say they arrested about 8 suspected kidnappers, armed robbers, social miscreants and vandals in the month of October 2024. The Kaduna Police Command also says it has in its custody one Nuhu Haruna, suspected of killing his stepmother after a heated argument over some bags of soya beans. Abdullah Yamadi has more in this report.
As for Nuhu Haruna, it all began following an argument over who should be the rightful owner of some bags of soya beans between him and his father, where his stepmother, Rabi Haruna, intervened, a situation that triggered attack and a subsequent killing. Similarly, the police is investigating one Usman Abdurrahman who is suspected of attempted robbery and causing grievous hurt on one Muhammad Filin Samji, where he used machete in cutting off his hand and collected his phone. In the same vein, the police have succeeded in arresting one Isayana who specialized in organizing kidnapping for ransom in connection with the disappearance of one Bellasani of Dore village in Bindawa local government area of the state.
What happened is that the suspect had a misunderstanding with his stepmother, one Rabi Haruna, age 40 years old, of the same address, over a soya beans. The suspect fetched some soya beans belonging to his father, which the stepmother reported him to his father, and the suspect find it unpleasant, and they had misunderstanding, which he used a stick in attacking his stepmother and ended up killing her.
The police have also reported 2 separate cases of kidnapping for ransom involving one Abubakar Nasir alias Haru from Daura and Nasir Sanusi from Kankara local government areas of Kaduna State. According to the police, Abubakar Nasir was previously arrested in connection with rape case and is currently standing trial in court, having confessed to have conspired with his fellow kidnappers and invaded Ungwarmaza in Kafur local government, where they kidnapped some women. As for Nasir Sanusi, he is being detained in connection with criminal conspiracy, kidnapping and culpable homicide, where he is suspected of kidnapping his uncle, collected 8 million naira ransom, in addition to some bags of fertilizer before killing his victim.
And demanded a ransom of about 13 million naira to secure the release of these victims.
Some suspected vandals of electric cables, including Zainul Abidin and Mansour Isa, are also being interrogated by the police for stealing and vandalizing national assets. While commending the good people of the state for volunteering useful information that led to the arrest, police are asking Kaduna residents to always monitor the movement of their children to prevent them from falling victims of circumstances. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Kaduna.
We go to the south, where in Oyo State, at least 10 people have been reportedly killed and 7 others rescued after a building collapsed at Jegede Olorunshogo in Ona, Ira local government area of Oyo State. Confirming the incident, which Trust TV News learned occurred at 2 a.m., the General Manager, Oyo State Fire Services, Akinyemi Akinyinka, said they received a distress call from the people in the neighborhood at about the time of the incident, calling for help. Here's more.
Of the 10 people who died in a Thursday morning incident, 4 were children, while the other 6 were adults. 3 others who sustained injuries and another 7 were hospitalized. An eyewitness, Okonlawon Yusu, told Trust Television that the building was used to treat psychiatric patients.
Although I was not at the scene, I was informed of the incident by our community vigilante group at 3 a.m. as the secretary to the community. I can confirm that the building's owner was a compassionate individual who ran an informal care center for people with mental health issues. At 3 a.m., we received an urgent call about the sudden collapse of Baba Ire's house, and we swiftly initiated rescue operations. As of now, the cause of the collapse remains unknown.
The Commissioner for Lands and Urban Development, Akinfunmilayo Williams, says the collapsed building was not meant to be occupied and announced that Governor Seyi Makinde has approved integrity tests for all buildings in the state.
We are here on inspection and even to confirm what has actually happened and equally commiserate with the people in the community and the family affected. And we've seen it. And from what we all can see, if I can put it in this way, the building is already distressed. It's obvious and it's something visible even to the blind. The building is tired and nobody is supposed to occupy it. And to forestall occurrence of this ugly incident, that's why His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde approved recently what I will call building amnesty, whereby buildings in the state are expected to have a building approval. I can tell you without any search that this building affected doesn't have any building approval. And even from what I'm seeing within this community, so many buildings are here that are distressed and I believe they don't have any building approval.
The incident happened as a result of the rainfall yesterday night. During the thunderstorm, as I've learned, the building collapsed. And it trapped a lot of people inside. It was this morning that I was hearing that that house is being used to take care of, to heal some, to treat some mad people and mentally retarded people, and it made that also harbor many people.
Meanwhile, the Oyo State Police Command says it has provided adequate security cover in the area to prevent hoodlums from hijacking the incident scene and also protect the lives and properties of other residents within the area.
The National Economic Council has recommended the withdrawal of the tax reforms bill currently before the National Assembly to allow for wider consultations among stakeholders. Governor Seyi Makinde revealed this on Thursday while briefing newsmen at State House Abuja after a meeting of the council, which was chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Kehinde Amodu tells us more.
The tax reform bills before the National Assembly had created a lot of controversy, with 19 governors of the northern states of the Federation expressing opposition to the new derivation-based model for value-added tax distribution. Traditional rulers from the region, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, were in attendance at the Northern Governors Forum meeting where the stand was taken. President spokesman Bayo Ononuga had, through a press statement, tried to allay the fears of the governors and traditional rulers. He gave assurances that these proposed laws would not increase the number of taxes, nor would they lead to job losses. When the matter came up at the National Economic Council on Thursday, NEC advised that the bills be withdrawn from the National Assembly to allow for building of consensus around these reforms for the benefit of the entire country.
The Council acknowledged that the country is underperforming on all indices as it regards yields from major revenue sources, also our tax to GDP ratio, and so on. So Council therefore recommend the need to withdraw the bill currently before the National Assembly on tax reforms, so that we can have wider consultations.
Also up for discussion was the much vexed issue of the National Social Register, which unfortunately has not been resolved after 16 months of the inauguration of the present NEC.
So what we've done with the social register and what we're saying is, look, it will not be politicized, because when you see us playing politics in the middle of the night, we talk to ourselves, we align, we even shake hands. Okay, let's go out there. If you win, you win. If I win, we will support you. But when it comes to governance, it's a serious business, because lives, millions of lives for Nigeria are involved. So getting the correct social register devoid of, politics, that is what we've tried to do.
In light of the nationwide floods, which have been designated a national disaster, the Council is looking to increase the collaboration between the National Emergency Management Agency and the various state emergency management agencies to up their game.
And as we know, now the country is facing a national emergency with regards to flooding. And the report so far indicates that it's been quite a major national disaster, if you like. We're called upon to note that to date, that about 34 states have been affected, 217 local governments, 1,374,557 persons already affected, and 740,743 were displaced nationwide, 321 persons dead, and 2,854 injured.
Statistics show that 34 states and 217 local government areas have been affected by the floods. This is in addition to 1.3 million persons being affected, out of which over 740,000 people were displaced nationwide. 281,000 houses and 258,000 cultivated farmlands were also destroyed or affected by the ravaging floods. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The Nigerian Governors Forum have expressed empathy for Nigerians on Thursday morning, acknowledging the severe economic challenges in the country while voicing optimism that President Bola Tinubu's reforms would soon yield positive results. Imo State Governor and Chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Senator Hope Uzodimma, disclosed this while reading the communique issued at the end of the forum's meeting held in Abuja at the early hours of Thursday morning. The chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum outlined the governor's position during a media briefing following the NGF meeting in Abuja. He noted that governors acknowledged the importance of these measures in securing the nation's energy resources and improving the efficiency and resilience of NNPC production and supply chain, as well as to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians. Other issues highlighted while reading the communique includes NGF partnership with African Medical Center of Excellence aimed at improving health outcomes and accessibility for all Nigerians, collaboration with the DSS to safeguard the nation, amongst others. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has recovered over 248 billion naira in the last 1 year. The Commission's Director of Public Affairs, Wilson Uwajaran, made this known on Thursday when he gave an update on the achievements of the anti-graft agency so far. According to Uwajaran, over £53,000 and €172,000 was recovered, as well as another €5,000 for victims of crime in Spain. Uwajaran further added that the Commission is taking its rapid response notch higher, as it will lead to a drop in cybercrime, while noting that the Commission has also secured more than 35 convictions for naira abuse by Nigerians at social events. Uwajaran said 3 new directorates are set to emerge in Ekiti, Katsina and Anambra states. Here in Abuja, the Court of Appeal has reserved judgment in an appeal filed by the Indigenous People of Biafra, challenging its prescription as a terrorist organization by the federal government. A 3-man panel led by Justice Harma Barka adjourned the matter for judgment after the federal government and IPOB, through their respective lawyers, adopted their final briefs of argument. while a counsel from the Federal Ministry of Justice, Ughelli, announced his appearance for the government, IPOB was represented by a team of lawyers led by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chukwuma Machuku Umi. The detained leader of the IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, had earlier applied to be joined as an interested party in the appeal. IPOB is praying the appellate court set aside in its entirety the ruling and final decision of the late former Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Abdul Kafarati, which on September 15, 2017, outlawed his activities in Nigeria. However, in his 5 grounds of appeal, IPOB contended that Justice Abdul Kafarati erred in law and occasioned a miscarriage of justice when he ruled that the mandatory statutory condition requiring President Muhammadu Buhari's approval under Section 2, Subsection 1C of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013 was satisfied on the authority of a memo that the Attorney General of the Federation issued on September 15, 2017. After it had listened to both sides, the appeal court panel said it would communicate the judgment date to the parties. Still in court matters, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court here in Abuja has dismissed the suits filed by the oil-producing communities in Bayelsa and Delta states seeking to nullify what they allege is the illegal appointment in the Niger Delta Development Commission at NDDC. The communities had approached the court seeking a nullification of President Bola Tinubu's appointment of Chiedu Ebie as chairman of the NDDC. In their suit, the plaintiffs argued that Ebie was not qualified to head the board of the NDDC since he was not from the oil-producing area with the highest quantum of oil production. Delivering judgment, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik held that given Section 24, Subsection 2 of the NDDC Act, the plaintiffs had no locus standi. You're still on to News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come, we took a look at how rainfall boosts floriculture and how dedicated flower species can help the business thrive. This story and more when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now, thanks for staying with us. A recap of our top stories. We informed you that the abducted Kaduna female doctor has been freed after 10 months, 3 days. We also let you know that 10 people killed, 7 injured as building collapses in Ibadan. 2 more stories. Over in the Senate, it has indicated that the ad hoc committee established by the upper chamber to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian oil and gas industry has not abandoned the probe, contrary to recent reports on some media platforms. This follows a motion presented at Thursday's plenary by the committee chairman and Senate leader, Okpeyemi Bamidele, to rescind the earlier decision on the matter. Our National Assembly correspondent, Zagari Ibrahim, has more in this report.
In his submissions, Senator Bamidele explained that the House of Representatives had also formed a similar ad hoc committee to investigate the same issue, emphasizing the need for both chambers to collaborate on probing the issue of sabotage in the oil and gas industry.
The Senate equally observes that there is need for the ad hoc committees of the 2 chambers to work jointly to avoid duplication and clash in the discharge of their assignment. Accordingly, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate resolves to 1. Recapture the title of the ad hoc committee to National Assembly Joint Ad hoc Committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry.
That the resolution of the Senate be communicated to the House of Representatives, following which the joint ad hoc committee will be inaugurated by the presiding officers of both chambers. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Recall that the matter was brought up for the first time during plenary on July 3rd. Senator Asukwo Ekpeyong, Cross River South, highlighted serious concern over the continued importation of hazardous petroleum products and the dumping of substandard diesel in Nigeria, which poses a serious threat to the country's industrial sector.
Also note that the quality of the said diesel is below the Nigerian standard in terms of flash and sulfur levels. In spite of the substandard nature of the diesel, it has found its way into the Nigerian market.
Agencies and corporations such as the Ministry of Finance, Petroleum, NNPCL, NMDPRA, NUPRC, Dangote Group, international oil companies, among others, were initially invited by the now-defunct Senate Ad Hoc Investigative Committee. With the formation of the Joint Ad Hoc Committee, the investigation into the alleged economic sabotage in the petroleum industry is expected to commence immediately. Meanwhile, the Senate adjourned sitting till November 19, 2024. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who made the declaration, explained that the leave would allow relevant committees to carry out oversight activities on ongoing projects to determine the level of performance of the 2024 capital budget.
The Senate is hereby adjourned to the 19th day of November 2024 at 11 a.m. prompt.
The lawmakers also expect the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, leading to expectations that President Bola Tinubu is soon to present the 2025 budget proposal to a joint session of the National Assembly.
Still with the Red Chamber, it has stressed the need to curtail the rising cases of drug abuse, especially amongst youths in Nigeria. At a one-day national event on the need to include parents in the fight against drug abuse and reckless behaviors, the Senate equally expressed worry that lack of quick intervention may lead to social-economic dislocation of the country's youth population. Representing Senate President Godswill Akpabio at the event organized by the Joint Committee on Drugs and Narcotics in collaboration with the National Association of Nigerian Drug Monitoring, NANDROM, the Deputy Senate Leader, Lola Shiru, said the time to fight the menace is now. In her opening remarks, the convener of the event, Ambassador Christopher Okoye, stressed the need for parents to positively shape the character of their children at an early life stage.
Spark a movement and awakening to the silent epidemic of drug abuse that threatens the fabric of our society. The gathering is not just an event. It is a clearing call for parents, communities, and leaders to unite and take a resolute stand against this time that seeks to wash away the dreams of our youth. As we embark on this journey together, let us reflect on the vital role that parents should play in shaping a generation that rises above the color of drugs and embraces a life filled with purpose and integrity.
Nigeria has become a negative world among the community of nations. The reason we always ask for your support to carry out this sensitization and empowerment. You sensitize them, you also empower them to get something to do, to be busy. Drug abuse has become shame to our nation. So with this, I want everyone to please fight this fight from your end.
We move to Osun State, where residents of Ile-Ife have lamented the deteriorated condition of intercity roads in the city. To this end, they want both the state and federal government to do more in the area of road infrastructure in Ife to make life bearable for them. Hamido Ebade has more.
Ile-Ife is an ancient Yoruba city in the southwestern Nigeria with a very rich culture and tradition. Road infrastructure is one of the major challenges confronting Ile-Ife, as most of the intracity roads in the town are not in good condition. From Mayfair to Lagere, Sabo, Enowa Square, Akrabata, Obalufa Street, and others, the important link roads in Ife need urgent attention. Indigenous and residents of Ife said this has affected them negatively, with serious impact on their socio-economic life.
A lot of challenges because this road, nobody can move from this extreme down. The road was so horrible, bike cannot move, cars cannot move. We that we are trekking also cannot move it to anywhere.
Our internal roads are very, very bad in Ile-Ife. Take for instance, before all this road we are walking now, we have many challenges in Ile-Ife. Our roads are very, very bad. People cannot move freely in Ile-Ife.
Meanwhile, the federal government recently reconstructed 10 intracity roads in Ife, facilitated by Babajide Omaworare, who represented Osun East in the Senate. Omaworare appealed to residents of Ife to ensure proper maintenance of the new roads and assure them of more soon.
The gesture is just by ensuring that the roads are maintained. The roads are maintained, and this is the duty of all of us. There are some organizations in Ife, and I would like to make Ife a youth organization. I've gone around ensuring that these roads, since they were made, that they are maintained. Let me explain the reason to you. There are some welders, for instance, that will be plying their trade right on that road. There are vulcanizers that will be plying their trade right on that road. There are mechanics that will be, motor mechanics that will be plying their trade right on that road. It's not right.
The Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, commended the federal government for the road rehabilitation in Ife. Amid Ojigbade, Trust TV News.
Over in Kaduna State, the governor, Obasani, is set to launch 100 free compressed natural gas CNG buses for civil servants in the state. The Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Ibrahim Musa, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. He said the decision is in line with the administration's commitment to the advancement of the interest of workers and improvement in the living conditions of the poor, vulnerable and underserved in Kaduna State. Musa noted that the buses will convey civil servants through and through from work, stressing that this is aimed at alleviating the suffering of workers and enhancing their productivity. The statement added that a joint management committee consisting of representatives of organized labor and the state government will be set up to manage the free transportation scheme for civil servants. Similarly, the governor approved a new minimum wage of 72,000 naira for Kaduna State civil servants effective November 2024. Back here at the FCT, the minister, Nyesom Wike, says starting January 2025, all commercial buses in the nation's capital, Abuja, will be profiled by the Nigerian Police Force and the Department of State Services, DSS. Wike stated this at the FCT Renewed Hope Youth Empowerment Program in Abuja on Thursday when he handed over some new cars to beneficiaries to use as taxis. He encouraged beneficiaries not to be ashamed that they are being empowered to be taxi drivers, saying many Nigerians will reject taxi driving jobs at home, gladly embrace such when they travel abroad. To curtail kidnapping in cases of one-chance robbery, the minister said effective January 2025, any commercial bus not duly profiled by security agencies won't be allowed to operate within the nation's capital. Rainfall plays a crucial role in the growth and survival of all living things on Earth, including plants, and is seen as one of the most fundamentals of life. Its significance is even more appreciated by floricculturists who say watering flowers during the rainy season is less tasking as frequent lessens their work and provides them an opportunity to reconnect with nature. Victoria Chokolo, who spoke with some floriculturists, has more on this report as presented from our studio.
Rainwater has a remarkable ability to cleanse and rejuvenate not only the earth, but also the human soul. It brings a respite from the scorching heat, creating an ideal environment for both lives and plants. In floriculture, rainwater has revitalized flower beds, lending the plant a healthier, more vibrant appearance. Some floriculturists speak highly of the impact of rainfall on these plants, noting how it lessens their workload by reducing the need for frequent watering. They also expressed concerns on the economic downturn as lower patronage has impacted their business.
We thank God for the rain. This is the time to plant, replant, and do other things, and remove some weeds. But for flower and the patronage, we thank God. Some people are coming to buy. Some contract people, they will come and buy and go. We thank God.
And as it stands now, we don't need to water it now because it's actually raining, but we thank God for that. And actually, the flowers they are of different types, of different species. Like something like this one now, we can put this one in the smaller pot and put it inside the kitchen or at the dining, inside the sitting room, something like that. But they are of different species, different types of flowers.
We cannot be able to say this we can make some amount in a day or in a week, because most time you may not, as in a day you may not even make sale. 2 days you may not make sale, but we only believe one day or before or between the week we can make sale. That's how we are surviving. Talking about the flower vases, you can see that we have so many different sizes there. We have the one of 30,000 and the one of the medium size is 25,000, and we have the smaller one. I have sold those ones finished. Those one is 15,000. Why sure is negotiable depending on the customers that came. You can negotiate with the price and reduce some prices or add some price depending.
Actually, a nice business, yeah, it is. And coming often, it depends on. I come whenever I have a contract, a project, and there's no particular plans. I buy based on the project that I have and what my clients need.
The changing weather conditions have impacted the livelihoods of floriculturists, who are now urging the Lagos state government to allocate more dedicated spaces for their businesses, as available land is increasingly being overtaken by new construction projects.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has hosted a national workshop on flood trigger framework development in collaboration with the state emergency development agencies of Adama, Borno and Yobe. The project also partners the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, the National Space Research and Development Agency and the National Emergency Management Agency. The workshop brought together representatives from government agencies, disaster management practitioners, UN agencies, non-governmental organizations, and members of the Nigeria Anticipatory Action Task Force, co-chaired by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, World Food Programme, and FAO. Funded by the German government, the capacity building workshop focuses on flood preparedness and anticipatory action to strengthen resilience in northeast Nigeria's flood-prone communities. The discussions cover institutionalized flood trigger frameworks, advanced flood monitoring systems, and the role of early warning communication in reducing disaster risk.
Factors like mismanagement of resources, factors like lack of preparedness are all those things that trigger flood.
Also, we want a joint effort with partners to have a common framework that can be used to implement anticipatory action activities across the Bay State and in the country.
Satellite alone cannot, or satellite data is not the solution to preparedness. We have to use this hand in hand with other information, be it local, be it the ones that are being generated by different MDAs or even individuals. So it's not just in isolation. We use this as a scientific method to enhance other means.
Adamawa State Government, in collaboration with UNICEF, has launched the Adamawa State Social Protection Policy and Costed Implementation Plan. The event held at the Government House in Yola aims to address the challenges posed by climate change and insecurity, which have exposed citizens to various forms of hardships. Gibson Swadigo tells us more.
Commissioners, permanent secretaries,
and other stakeholders converged at the conference hall of Government House Yola, Adama State, to launch a social protection policy and costed implementation plan, monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning plan in partnership with UNICEF. Launching the policy document, Governor Fintri, represented by the Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Reintegration, Hamandaram, noted that the social protection policy seeks to reduce poverty and improve the well-being of all citizens through deliberate interventions. He emphasized that the policy will implement 24 measures in 8 key areas of the social sector, including education and healthcare.
The Adama State Social Protection Policy aligns with the State Development Plan of 2020-2025 and the 5 objectives of Global Sustainable Development Goals, which are directly related to social protection.
The Executive Chairman of the Adama State Planning Commission, Mary Paninga, praised the Governor for laying the foundation for protecting the less privileged and vulnerable. She said the initiative demonstrates the government's commitment to transparency, efficiency, and accountability in addressing socio-economic hardship and insurgency in Adamawa State.
This is why, together with this document, there's the implementation plan attached, making it very, very, very easy, simple, and seamless to ensure that the implementation takes place, together with the monitoring apparatus.
Director General of Paweka, Michael Zira, announced the governor's approval for the disbursement of another tranche of the Fintri wallet. Gibson Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
From the northeast, we move to the northwest, where in Kaduna State Revenue Service says it is re-strategizing to meet its 3 billion naira revenue generation target before the end of December 2024. This is even as the Kaduna Internal Revenue Service generated over 2 billion naira in the month of September 2024 from the initial 500,000 naira in the previous years. Abdul tells us more in this report.
This is the highest collection ever recorded in a month by the Kaduna State Revenue Service since its establishment over 35 years ago. The feat was achieved following the introduction of a central billing system payment gateway by the Kaduna State government, as well as blocking of all leakages by the new leadership of the Revenue Service, among many other reforms. The chairman of the Internal Revenue Service in Kaduna, Muhammad Isiaku, said the target is to generate a living revenue that would allow the state government to execute people-oriented projects that would better the lives of the citizens. In another move to hit the 3 billion naira monthly revenue for the state from now to December 2024, the service is engaging consultants and agents who will oversee revenue collection from the shadow economy or informal sector.
Is that this collection is a technology driven. We are going to use technology. And in that technology, the collection account of the government is residing there. Then there is going to be a wallet. That wallet belongs to the super agent, which for him to use that particular solution, he must credit his wallet. Automatically the accounting system will be like, it will debit your wallet, the wallet you have funded, and credit the government's account immediately.
The consultants highlighted the importance of the informal sector in revenue generation, saying they have developed a web-based portal that will assist in revenue collection and block leakages that will further boost tax collection and generate job opportunities to the state.
We look at the informal sector. Informal sector contributed over 75% of total collection in every state. And this very sector has not been fully tapped into. So we have identified this place and we felt, okay, Access Bank, in partnership with the Kaduna State Revenue Service, let's come together and see how we can generate more revenue.
We do revenue enhancement. The system is supposed to do ease of payment, revenue enhancement, revenue maintenance, whilst we block leakages. So If we have all this in mind, we have carved out solutions and processes to be able to ensure that from the moment this project kicks off, and we hand over the technology and the processes to the agents and super agents.
Public commentators in Kaduna believed that the smooth transition into the informal sector revenue collection will guarantee growth in revenue generation, which will further improve the economy of the state. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Kaduna.
Also on to News Hour on Trust TV. It's now time for Business with Yusuf Akogo.
Time for some business stories. Banks' credit to the government has surged to a record 42 trillion naira in September amid growing money supply. According to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), credit to the government rose by 89.8% year-on-year, up from 22.13 trillion naira in September 2023. This significant increase highlights the growing reliance on bank financing by the government. On a monthly basis, commercial banks' credit to the government also recorded a sharp increase. In August 2024, this figure stood at 31.15 trillion naira, but jumped 34.8% by September. This monthly increase shows a rising pattern in government borrowing. Oil marketers have again written a letter to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery expressing their willingness to buy refined petroleum products from the $20 billion plant. They disclosed this on Wednesday, following Tuesday remarks by the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, that marketers were not buying products from the Lekki-based facility. Dangote faulted the continued importation of petrol by oil marketers and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, despite the fact that the commodity was being produced by his refinery. Oil dealers under the aegis of the Petroleum Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria and their counterparts in the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, say they are willing to buy petrol from the Dangote refinery. They specifically stated that they had approached the refinery a couple of times to express the interest of their members in lifting refined petroleum products from the plants. NGX closed the month of October in the negative territory. The negative sentiment resulted in 23 stocks gains, while 26 shares declined. Let's see how it went down today. Aradel lost 10% to close at 495 naira and 10 kobo per share. Of course, Veritas Capital also lost 10% to close at 1 naira and 44 kobo per share. Of course, NSL Tech down in the negative territory, 9.09% to close at 60 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the index downward by 0.38%. Volume of trade 485.09 million shares. They valued at 8.51 billion naira in a list of 8,510 lead exchanges among investors today. Of course, looking at the top trading equities by volume, UACN leading a table 54.72 million shares. It traded Sham PLC 53.26 million shares. Of course, UBA 48.26 million volume of shares. It traded as well. Of course, some equities also recorded gains. As Suno Assurance lead a table 10% gain to close at 2 naira and 9 kobo per share. Of course, Unicel also gained 9.89% to close at 5 naira and 11 kobo per share as well. Of course, UPL also gained 9.74% to close at 3 naira and 38 kobo per share. There, of course, that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Thursday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Price stabilized on Thursday after rallying the previous day on stronger than expected U.S. fuel demand and report that producer group OPEC Plus could delay a planned output increase. Global benchmark Brent steadies at $72 a barrel. For the pay basket, dealers offer $70 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf, for that business. Let's get to Chad, where the President, Mohammed Idris Deby Itno, is personally leading an army counteroffensive against Boko Haram after a deadly attack by the terrorist group on a military garrison. Boko Haram terrorists killed around 40 people during the late Sunday to Monday raid on the base in the Lake Chad region, an area plagued by armed groups. The presidency said on Facebook that President Deby is still camped on the edge of Lake Chad, where he's personally leading Operation Haskanite. Accompanying the post was a photograph of 40-year-old Debbie in uniform. Other Debbie is holding numerous meetings, instructing and directing in order to leave no chance to members of Boko Haram. Ground and air forces, which have been mobilized for the operation, have gone into action, it said in another Facebook post. The terrorists killed around 40 people and wounded 37 others, Prime Minister Abdurrahim Biri Mohammed announced on Wednesday. Now time for sports with Adini Ajishafe.
Organizers of the Nathaniel Ogedegbe Flawless Soccer Tournament are set to stage the second edition in December at the Shonibare Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. The inaugural youth football competition held in January 2024 hopes to be better at the second outing. The competition, organized by former Nigerian junior international Nathaniel Ogedegbe, will give soccer talent the opportunity to showcase skills, learn and develop their passion for football. The 7-a-side youth tournament is divided into two categories. The under-10 boys will battle it out from 7 to 8 December, while the under-12 competition is scheduled for 17 to 18th December 2024. As registration for the tournament is open online, teams are required to complete their roster verification on or before 28th November 2024. The grassroots football development will feature professional referees at a well-maintained playing facility, ensuring a competitive and safe environment for all players. The top 3 teams in each category will receive awards and trophies in recognition of their hard work and dedication. Having played for St. Finbar's College and Lagos Academicals during his formative years, Ogedegbe believes the youth competition is a way of giving back to the community where he honed his football skills in Lagos before representing Nigeria at the junior level. Still on football, 8 Nigerian National League clubs will compete in the inaugural Abia State Governors Nakoma preseason tournament, scheduled to take place in Abia from 4 to 6 November 2024. The participating teams include Idela FC and Solution FC from Oka, Abakaliki FC, Kun Khalifa FC from Owerri, Godswill Akpabio FC from Uyo, and Abia Comment Football Club from Umuahia. Additionally, 2 academy teams, Diamond Academy from Umuahia and Ahudia Inem FC from Aba, will complete the lineup. Member of the organizing committee, Hyacinth Ezindu, confirmed that the tournament, endorsed by Abia State Governor Alex Oti, aims to help teams prepare effectively for the upcoming NLF season starting on the 30th of November. Ezindu explained that the tournament will provide clubs with an opportunity to evaluate their new signings in the competitive setting before the league's kickoff. And Nigerian National League has warned clubs against inciting violence during the 2024-2025 season. NLL Chairman George Aluo advised all participating clubs to adhere to the spirit of sportsmanship by avoiding violence as the league commences. Aluo emphasized the importance of crowd control and unrestricted live streaming of both home and away matches. At the closing ceremony of the NLL Club's Coaches and Media Managers Workshop held at Raymond Star Stadium, Ikene, Aluo reiterated the league's commitment to fair play and the safety of match officials. He assured participants of timely payment of referees' indemnities, a move aimed at maintaining impartial officiating in all matches and dispersing the notion that they will experience biased officiating at away games. The NNL chairman encouraged clubs to allow away teams to freely stream matches, emphasizing that clubs should have no concerns if they conduct matches fairly. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
That brings to a wrap News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, to want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.